spotless.
Yeah. I'm going to try to chase it down. I'm sure that they won't divulge who said this, but.
No, they won't. And that's one of the frustrating things. Because if you're going to make that, you should say who said it. And listen, it wouldn't be the first time somebody had a misunderstanding about something, right?
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, I'm willing to say that anything is possible. But of course, we all know that that directive never came from me.
Yeah, I have to take this call. I'll get back to that.
Go ahead.
All
All
right.
right.
You!
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
I've got 2 meetings tonight.
I just got out of one and I've got 2 more to go.
Hey, Mark, you're not on mute.
Whoops.
Okay, welcome to the special March 10th meeting of the Municipal Building Commission. You can see that we have almost everybody here, but Jeremy, why don't you call the roll?
All right, Terry,
Here.
Ed. Yeah. Jackie,
Here.
Gail,
Here.
Jerry, Mike, Andrew, Kelly,
Here.
and Jack.
Here, we have a quorum. Andy, we can see you're here. We'll give you the floor to explain to us what it is you're proposing and why we think we still have some problems at these 2 middle schools.
So Jack,
Or Mark, do you want to start?
well, I just wanted to point out that what prompted all of this was Bar saying that they needed to do more work. And after making that assertion, we found some leaks. Now, some of the leaks were attributed to condensation and ruptures in the cooling and heating systems. And some of the leaks were penetrations from the outside, but none of them severe. All of the more substantial leaking has stopped in both buildings with the flashing work that the roofer conducted toward the end of the project or right after the end of the project. So in seeing some water still penetrating, we were concerned with whatever thinking Russo Bar had in terms of what they saw as additional issues that had to be addressed.
Okay.
So we had requested that they make a presentation and explain what exactly these issues are. I haven't heard what their thinking is on the issues.
Okay, Andy, is that a
Okay.
good preamble?
That is, yes, thank you. Yeah, okay. So a little bit of a background. It was my understanding that after the work was complete, there were there were either continuing or new leaks along the one area of the building directly below the wall. I think it's the wall to the gym, where those leaks had occurred. And we looked at that, and we did some investigation and did find that there was some defects with the flashings work that that the contractor that MDM had done, and they repaired those. But it was my understanding that leaks still occurred after that. So and based upon what we had seen in the wall when we did our additional investigation at that time, we felt that the reason why we said we needed to do some more investigation was that there were larger issues with the wall going up the wall, not related to the roof, which could be causing those leaks. But so I guess obviously the most important question is, since Mark, I guess since that work was done over the course of the winter, and we had some pretty significant rains. There have been no leaks since at this point in time. Is that correct?
There was a substantial leak at Wamsutta after the project where the roofer came back and did some additional flashing work.
Right.
And since that point, there hasn't been any penetration. Right.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's a couple different ways to handle. Well, first of all, let me explain what we had seen when those repairs were done. Basically, the backup wall behind the brick is CMU, and there was a beam, a steel column that was in the concrete block wall, which was created not a smooth surface like the normal wall would have. And so you had the ins and outs of a steel column. And that's where some of the issues were with what MDM had done, where their flashing did not go tight to that. So that water that got up in higher on the wall and ran down the wall was able to get behind it in that area. There also wasn't a whole lot of waterproofing of the rest of the CMU wall that was there. And so the reason why we were proposing to do more work was if there are defects in the wall up above, particularly as you go higher up the wall, so that as water gets into that wall, through that wall, through the brick, through deteriorated mortar over the years, that it will find its way through the wall or into the inside of the wall, the CMU part of the wall, before it even gets down to the through wall flashing at the bottom. So that's why we wanted to do additional investigation. But if we're hearing that there have been no other issues, it may be possible we don't have to do this extra work, or not until something happens in the future where there is a leak, which indicates that there is a more systemic problem in that wall that should be investigated. So, I'm not saying that you need to spend this money if you don't need to spend the money, and if there's been no leaks, then maybe that's the case.
So Mark, can you respond to that?
Yeah, I can say that we haven't seen any leaks most recently. But obviously are concerned if Russo Bar, who has done the roofs in this district and who we trust implicitly, feels that there's an issue. So I can't tell if they do or don't.
So Andy, would you get out there with hoses and spray and see if something happens?
We can do some water tests. Yep, we can do that. Which to try to make the roof leak. I mean, not the roof. I'm sorry, the wall leak.
Yeah.
And that's one way of doing it. I mean, water leaks. It's funny because I've done water tests before, and you can't get it to leak at all, and then the next rainstorm it hits something the right way. So it's the thing that was interesting about these particular leaks were that it was happening at Wamsutta and not at at the other school, and the construction was supposed to be the same. But what I was also being told, based upon what was seen during the construction, and I'm not sure if we have photos, unfortunately, that are going to make this clear, but there were some slight variations in that particular wall, the way it was built in comparison to other walls in the building. That's why that's another reason for saying, well, wait a minute, did they forget to put waterproofing in there? Are there other defects, excuse me, in the wall above that could be causing these leaks? Because once again, I thought that there were recurring leaks, but that could have been just a misunderstanding also that there was before. But if it hasn't leaked at all since the repairs were done, we can, we could do nothing at this point in time and go through a full year or something like that type cycle, or just shy of a year. And if there's no leaks, then then what that could have been, it could have all been related to the defects or the repairs that MDM made to their flashing. But I guess the confusion is that I thought that there were leaks after that fact. But maybe there were, and they were HVAC related.
So Mark, are
So
you
I'm not sure who
comfortable?
has a time frame on those, if
Yeah,
anybody has a
Mark.
time frame on when those repairs or when the leaks occurred.
Mark, are you comfortable with us deferring this and doing nothing? Do you want us to suggest a limited investigation by Russo Bar? What's your pleasure?
Jack, I would say that, again, I'm not a roofer and neither is Jason, and happy to have a conversation with Jason on how he'd like to proceed. But again, we would certainly defer to Andy's expertise and go with whatever he feels should be done.
Okay, I think that a good way to do this might be, now those ceiling tiles or sheetrock that's there, where the leaks were showing up,
Tiles,
have they been replaced?
yes.
Okay, all right, so good. So they've been replaced. If it leaks again, one of the nice things about ceiling tiles is they do show up water. They show water pretty easily because it absorbs. Why don't we just sort of stay the course where we are now, and make sure that Jason or whoever the custodian is on that school, make sure that they keep an eye on that, and if they see stains, they let you guys know immediately, and you let me know, and then we can at that time figure out, okay, what was it, a wind-driven rain, what was it, blah blah blah, and then if we need to at that point in time, then do some investigation. I think that's probably the most prudent way to do it at this point in time.
Okay, so that means we do nothing is what it sounds like. And that's easy for us to do nothing.
Yep.
So I guess then my recommendation, unless commission members have questions or comments, would be that we do nothing with this proposed amendment to the contract, and that we let nature take its course for another month or so and see what happens when it rains again. Does that sound like what the commission members want to do?
Sounds good.
Terry, you okay with that?
Yes, it's just when spring comes and all the rain, I have concerns.
Well, yeah, I mean, the problem is that if we get some severe rains in the spring and it starts to leak, then, and we've done nothing, then perhaps we look foolish. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Agree.
This is Kelly. I think at that point we have our answer though. And I think right now there's just too many uncertainties, and to go in and explore it without actually seeing if there is an active leak, I think would be a bit premature at this point.
Yeah, that's my feeling too. Gail, what do you think? Gail?
I agree. Sorry. I agree. It's probably a little premature to do anything and just leave it and wait to see what happens at the next big rainstorm.
Okay, and Ed?
Yeah, I don't think anything else makes sense but to wait.
Okay, then I'm going to suggest that we take no action this evening and that we have a motion to adjourn, in which case we will have met our deadline to start the next meeting at 5:30 for the school building committee. So
Move to adjourn.
Second,
roll
Thank
call.
you, guys.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mark and
Thank you.
Andy. Roll call, Jeremy?
Terry?
yes.
Ed? Yes. Jackie?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
And Jeff?
Yes, we are adjourned at 5:30.
Terry, are you there? Do we need to click on a different link for the SBC or is it the same one?
No, no, just stay where you are, Gail.
Okay, okay, thanks.
You're welcome.